Okay, welcome everyone. Just one moment. Yeah, okay, welcome everyone. Welcome to today's webinar on unlocking the 5 levels of self-awareness to transform your life and relationships. I am thrilled you are here because we are about to embark on a journey inward that can change how you see yourself and how you connect with the people you love. My name is Tarun, and I'll be your guide today as we explore these 5 powerful levels of self-awareness. Let's start with Sarah's story. Sarah is working in Bangalore, and she's a 38-year-old marketing manager. She's a mom of 2 teenagers and has been married for 15 years. On the surface, her life looks great. She is busy, she is successful, she is full. But inside, she is exhausted. She snaps at her kids over small things, like when they ignore her advice about school. She argues with her husband over the dishes left in the sink. And afterwards, she feels this gnawing guilt, like she's failing at everything that matters. And one day, Sarah is sitting in her car after a particularly rough morning. Her son had stormed off after she yelled at him. And she's just staring at the steering wheel, wondering, why do I keep doing this? Why am I so angry all the time? That moment, that pause, was the beginning of something huge for Sarah. It was the spark of self-awareness. And today, we are going to unpack that journey through 5 levels that Sarah and all of us can climb to live better lives and build stronger relationships. So first, let us understand what is self-awareness. Anyone wants to say anything about self-awareness? Any comment or any idea you want to bounce? Yeah, anyone? Self-awareness. Yeah, go on, Prerna.
Yeah, Tarunji. So, usually I would always understand the effect of my negative emotion after I have reacted. So supposing it was anger, I could, later on I would say, okay, it just happened. I just got angry. I flared up and, I said this and I acted like this. So then I'm able to, in the hindsight, go back and understand that, okay, this is what I spoke and this is how I got angry. Now what happens is, as the anger is coming, I can literally feel a surge of that emotion going from the pit of my stomach till up. And when it almost reaches my neck, I get a little bit of like my neck starts to prick. When the heat reaches my neck, the neck starts to prick, and I'm like, okay, the wave of the anger is coming and it's going to my head. Like, they say the anger flushes to the head and then we just kind of burst out reacting. So now I am able to see that, okay, this is what is happening. And okay, so I'm feeling this. So that awareness, I had never understood that this is what is happening. But around 6 months back, when something happened with a family member, I saw this anger surging upwards. And it was something that for the first time that I'm seeing, I'm observing. So I felt that, okay, I'm angry. Of course, I could not contain my anger. I vented, even though I saw it. But in that minute, I still felt, okay, for the first time, I was angry, but I was aware that, okay, this is anger.
Great. Thanks, Prerna. Anyone else wants to chip in? Okay. So let's look first, what is self-awareness? It is our ability to notice our thoughts, feelings, and actions, to really see ourselves. It is what sets us apart as humans, and deepening it is the key to evolving into the best versions of ourselves. Whether you want less conflict with your partner, more patience with your kids, or just a calmer mind, self-awareness is the foundation. So our friend Prerna has already explained to you some of her self-awareness points. So let's go into the 5 different levels. We'll explore all these 5 levels of self-awareness, each one taking us deeper into understanding who we are and why we do what we do. These levels are not just theory, they are actually a roadmap. And as we go, I will share examples, including Sarah's story, to show how this works in real life. And by the end, you will have tools to start your journey. So let us dive straight away into the level 1. Level 1 is called outer self-awareness. Now, what is outer self-awareness? Outer self-awareness is about noticing your behavior patterns and personality traits, how you showed up in the world. Think of it as something like outside you that others see. So, for example, I am seeing, say, Vishal. Then that is what it is. How I am seeing Vishal. That is how the outside of Vishal is seeing Vishal. Let us go to the example of Sarah. For Sarah, this was her realizing, I often get angry. Simple? Right. But powerful? She started noticing how often she snapped, maybe 3 times a day. And who triggered it? Her teens, her husband, and sometimes even her boss. Let us say you are someone who clams up during arguments. You might notice, I go quiet when I am upset. That's level 1, spotting the pattern. So ask yourself, what's one behavior you do often? Maybe you interrupt people, or maybe you avoid tough talks. Write it down. Then track it for a day. How often do you do it? How often does it happen? Who is around when it does? This awareness is your starting point. For relationships, it is huge, because once you see how you act, you can decide if it's helping or hurting those connections. This is the first outer awareness, the outer self-awareness, where we are only noticing our behaviors. कि हाँ, मुझे गुस्सा आता है. उसके beyond नहीं. अभी सिर्फ इतने पे ही हम रुके. We have just stopped at the very periphery of our self-awareness, जहाँ पे we are just looking at what is happening. And that happening is that I am getting angry. This is called outer self-awareness. Let us go into the next level, level 2. Since we have seen outer self-awareness, now let us see what is inner self-awareness. The level 2 is called inner self-awareness. This is about tuning into the thoughts and feelings behind your behaviors. Sarah took her, I often get angry and dug in. She realized, when my teens don't listen to my advice, I think they don't respect me. I feel frustrated and worry they will mess up their lives. That's why I got angry. Suddenly, it wasn't about yelling. It was about her fears as a mom. Imagine you are the quiet during arguments type. That whenever argument happens, you become quiet. In level 2, you will notice that when I go silent, I am thinking, I will say something I regret, and I feel scared of conflict. So I just remain silent. So this is the second level, which is called inner self-awareness, where you have observed that you got angry, but then you went into the inner detail of why you were getting angry. And in Sarah's case, her teens, the kids, that is what was causing the anger. When my teens don't listen to my advice, I think they don't respect me. This is what is going on in her mind. And this is what her realization is. And because she feels that they are not listening to her, and it means they are not respecting her, she feels frustrated and worried that they will mess up in their lives. And that's why she gets angry. So this is the second level of self-awareness. Now let us go to the third level. Third level is called subtle self-awareness. Subtle self-awareness is where you catch your thoughts and feelings as they bubble up before they turn into big reactions. It's like mindfulness on steroids. Sarah started noticing that when my son rolls his eyes, I feel this tightness in my chest and my breathing speeds up. Those are the signals that anger is starting. She caught it early, not after the yelling. So in our other example, that if you are silent type, you might sense when my partner raises their voice, I feel a knot in my stomach and I am already shutting down. And now coming to the example which Prerna mentioned, that she feels it bubbling from the bottom to the top whenever she feels. So that is the third one, the third level. This is called subtle self-awareness. So I'll pause for a moment and we'll see if anybody has got any questions or any observation or any comment on the first three levels. So first we talked about the outer self-awareness, then we talked about the inner self-awareness, and then we talked about the subtle self-awareness. In the outer self-awareness, we talked about the realization of the I often get angry, the behavior which a person is able to catch himself when he becomes aware. And that is what we call outer self-awareness. Then in the second case of inner self-awareness, the person is going behind the anger and she is saying that my teens don't listen to my advice, they don't respect me, I feel frustrated and I worry they will mess up their lives. That's why I get angry. That is the second level. Now in the third level, the person is able to see what is happening inside in her body, and she is able to catch the signals much before. When my son rolls his eyes, I feel this tightness in my chest and my breathing speeds up. That anger starting. So this is called subtle self-awareness. Yeah. I'll stop for a moment and take if there are any questions or any comments or any points. Anyone? So Prerna, congratulations. You are already on 3rd level. Huh? Yeah, Prerna, go on.
Thank you, Tarunji. So that made a lot of sense, and I'm happy that you this discussion we are having with the emotion of anger, because anger is something that for most people it shows up. But then it also at some point of time when I am in this awareness, what happens is that I question the rightness of the anger. So that is when I start questioning that. So is the anger right or is the anger wrong? And there is a bias always that anger being a negative emotion, anger is wrong. And I will say 70% of the times when I see that emotion and I question I start to question the rightness of this emotion. Is this the right thing that I'm doing? And there is a tendency for me to label that no, it's bad to get angry, it's wrong to get angry. In that minute, I also notice that I'm failing to take sometimes the required action. So sometimes the other person is overstepping the boundary that I may have enforced. And just because I am coming from this bias that anger is negative and it's wrong, so I start contemplating too much on the rightness of it. And then I feel that, but it was necessary in that moment. So somewhere I paint that as negative rather than making something productive out of it. So that is where then I get even more angry that, oh my God, why did I not realize this?
Perfect. And very natural, Prerna. And thanks for pointing that out. And I have deliberately kept that particular discussion a little waiting. We will come to that. First, what we will do is, we will cover all the 5 levels. So since we have already covered the 3 levels, we will first cover all the 5 levels, and then we will see that at which level, what kind of questions actually bubble up and what kind of behavior is expected at each level. So that when we try to move from 1st level to the 2nd level or 2nd to 3rd, like that journey becomes smooth or it is a breakthrough. Or normally in our journey, what happens? So we will come to that.
Yes.
So yeah. Just hold on for some more moments. Thanks for your observations, Prerna. And let me tell you, others in the group, please don't feel in any way intimidated by Prerna, because Prerna is in this space for last 1.5 years. And you already know she is a pretty good coach in Anamify. So her level is really, I would say, pretty strong. So those of us who are starting the journey, don't get overawed or overwhelmed with Prerna's story, because Prerna is definitely a very senior coach. So she is in this space for pretty long now, I would say. So, but nevertheless, it's a journey, and wherever you start from, that's where the journey begins. So thanks, Prerna, once again. And now I see the hands of Vishal and Veda. So we will come to Vishal first, and then Veda, I'll come to you after that. Vishal, you can go on.
Yeah, Tarunji, I wanted to take a little bit different example. So let's say, for example, I'm trying to go into a kind of more sensory self-awareness, okay, from which the anger stems. For example, if you are walking in a very hot summer or hot sun, right, you'll feel irritated, or if you are feeling a lot of heat, right, when you feel irritated, the irritation then becomes anger, and then we spit that anger anywhere, whomever we meet, or whatever we do, that anger gets into them, like we just spit it out, okay. So now what I was trying to say is that first thing, level 1, outer self-awareness, it is known. What I mean to say is that I can recognize that this is stemming from the anger or whatever the irritation, I would say, is stemming from my sensory organs. Like, for example, I'm feeling a lot of cold. If I have to walk in a cold to get something, right, which is required at home, and I don't want to go but have to go. So that is recognized. The second one is inner self-awareness. I know that I am getting irritated with this one, and I try to recognize that, and I try to channel my feelings. But the moment when I get back home, what happens is that although I have recognized the level 1 and level 2, in the level 3, what happens is that I just spit it out. Not in a very intense way, but I do say that, I was not supposed to go because it was pretty cold outside. Or let's say, for example, if you're having a terrible headache, but still you have to go outside and do some things you don't want to do. And that headache turns into an anger in one or the other way.
So, Vishal, I would still classify whatever you have told me and whatever I have heard so far from you is level 1 and 2. Level 3 is little more deeper than what you have described. Because in level 3 is catching before the actual behavior has happened. So if you are able to catch your anger before the anger has happened, and you are feeling it, like how Prerna explained, that in her body she starts feeling it, that something is changing, and it has already reached up to her neck when she feels saturated. So that is the third level. Are you getting?
Yes, got it. Yeah.
So let me again repeat it for the help of 2 more participants who have just recently joined, that we are talking about 5 levels of self-awareness. We have already covered the first 3. Let me in brief talk about the 3. Self-awareness is our ability to notice our thoughts, feelings, and actions, to really see ourselves. It is what sets us apart as humans, and deepening it is the key to evolving into the best version of ourselves. So something happens, and then you start questioning yourself. And when you start questioning yourself, you automatically start observing about your thoughts, feelings, and actions. That is called self-awareness. And there are 5 levels. We covered the first 3 levels. The first level is called outer self-awareness. And in the outer self-awareness, you just notice your behavior. And in this example of Sarah, a middle-aged, 38-year-old marketing manager, having 2 kids who are teenage, and she is feeling snappy from time to time. So she realizes that I often get angry. So the moment she realizes that she is angry, that is called level 1, the outer self-awareness. Level 2 is when Sarah says, after she has observed her anger couple of times, she has dug in deep, she has realized that when my teens don't listen to my advice, I think they don't respect me. And I feel frustrated and worry that they will mess up in their life, and that's why I get angry. So in this, Sarah has moved from anger to the cause of anger, which is causing the anger. And in this case is her story, which she tells to herself, that it is the teens who are not listening to her, and that is why she thinks that if they are not listening, it means they are not respecting. And if they are not respecting it, then she starts feeling frustration and worrying, and that's what causes the anger. And then there is third level, which is called subtle self-awareness, where Sarah is able to catch the changes happening in her body before the anger gets expressed. And she says, Sarah starts noticing, when my son rolls his eyes, I feel this tightness in my chest and my breathing speeds up. That means my anger is starting. She caught it early. not after the yelling. So this is the third level called subtle self-awareness. So we have covered up to this so far. So I'll again pause for a moment, and I see Akhilan has raised his hand. Akhilan, please go ahead.
Yeah, good evening, Tarun. Actually, I just was listening to your the various levels of self-awareness. So, is there a way, for example, even though we are self-aware, okay, even though we have crossed these levels, but it is still can it happen like, okay, even though I am still aware, I'm not able to control that what's causing me or whatever is happening within me, or I am able to realize the fact that yes, I'm getting angry, or I have this fear of failure, or whatever the issue is, but still I'm not able to control. So that is one. And even though, okay, the other one is leading to still a kind of total destruction. Even though I'm aware, I'm self-aware. Of course, possibly you will be, I think you will be covering that in next 2 levels, I believe. But still, is there a way that it can happen in a negative way? Like, even though I'm aware, I'm not able to control. I don't have a control of that. What's happening because of various factors like external disturbances or whatever. But I'm still not able to control. And also, if there is a way that it can go, I end up in a negative situation. This is my. These are
Thank you. Very pertinent points, Akhilan. Both of these points we will cover in the subsequent sections, which I intend to cover. So what I will say, you just hold to your questions and I will come back to you.
Okay, thank you.
Till you will have those unanswered, then we will go into that.
Okay, thanks, Tarun.
Thanks. Thanks, Akhilan, for asking that. Great questions. Vishal.
I don't have a question, Tarunji, but I just want to build a scenario from my personal experience. What Akhilan has just mentioned. Okay, it actually happened with me in November. So in the first part, I touched about sensory self-awareness and how we react after that, if that's not a pleasant sensory self-awareness, right? Now, this one is exhaustion. So what happened is, in a corporate setting, I was having meetings from morning 9 o'clock, 9 till 12, and then again from 1 to 3. And I have been talking, presenting, trying to make things understand to people. At 3 o'clock, around 3 o'clock, I was very exhausted, tired. Okay, and I knew that I'm getting tired, but I still have to be calmer. But there was a disagreement between me and my colleague on certain things. And I already had a pre-notion of it that he has been blocking since morning, and I've been very patient since 9 o'clock, right? At 3 o'clock, right out of the blue, even though I was self-aware, I was calm and everything, I just snapped. So that was the first part of what Akhilan has said. The second part was that after snapping, right away I got self-aware that I snapped. So I was trying to control the damage. So my goal was to maintain that kind of a professional relationship for the next 2 hours, because I have to deal with them for next 2 hours. So I just switched into that zone. So yeah, this was the scenario.
Perfect. We will come to this, Vishal. The moment we will cover in our, other sections. So we have already covered the 3 levels of self-awareness. We will cover the first, the balance 2, and then we will come to these scenarios. And these are all very beautiful scenarios from actual day-to-day happening. So I am very happy that you are bringing all those things right in the discussion, right at the very beginning. So absolutely, I'm totally aligned with you on that we will talk about that in more detail. So let me finish the level 4 and level 5. So you will get some sense of where we are going. So I initially mentioned that these 5 levels of self-awareness are towards self-improvement only. So people, it doesn't happen that you start from level 2, or it doesn't happen that you start from level 3. You gradually start. And it happens from level 1 to level 2 to level 3 to level 4 to level 5. Level 5, if someone reaches, he is like Mother Teresa. So we'll come to that. So let me not take the thunder away. Let's build it up. So we have already talked about level 1, level 2, level 3. Let's look at level 4. So just to recapitulate, level 1 was outer self-awareness, level 2 was inner self-awareness, and level 3 was subtle self-awareness. Let's look at level 4. Level 4 is called acute self-awareness. And this is what happens in acute self-awareness, where you dig further deep. Now you look at your beliefs, which is driving your thoughts and feelings. So you remember in level 1, we talked about behavior. In level 2, we went to the thoughts behind that behavior. In level 3, we observed the feelings which are happening inside our body and trying to stop at that level. But even if it is happening or it is not happening, stopping or it is still continuing, that's immaterial. But if you have even realized, like Prerna mentioned, that the changes in her body, she realizes. So that itself is level 3. Now level 4 is digging further deep and looking into the beliefs. And beliefs, get formed over years by listening to our caregivers, our parents, our relatives, our friends, our colleagues, our teachers, our guru, our YouTubes, our Instagram, so many. So in our case, Sarah, the mother, the 38-year-old mother of 2 teens who feels angry, she asked herself, why does my teens ignore me hit so hard? She found beliefs like kids should always follow their parents' advice. And if they fail, it is my fault. Those were running in her mind all the time. You notice? Sarah has dug deeper from anger. She realizes in the level 1, the outer self-awareness, that she is angry. In level 2, she realizes that she gets angry because when her teens are not listening to her. And in level 3, she is able to find the feelings inside her body. But now in level 4, called acute self-awareness, she is further digging deep and she is saying, oh my God, I was telling all the time these stories to myself, that kids should always follow their parents' advice. If they fail, it is my fault. Now, this is what is the cause of maximum people today. The wrong beliefs, the wrong theories, which we are carrying in our mind for God knows how many number of years. And if somebody does not point out, or if we do not dug deep, we don't even realize, even till our last day, we will die with those beliefs. And you have seen so many examples. The Thakur style of leadership, which was so prevalent 20 years back, and still is prevalent in certain corporates, where people think if, you have to discipline your subordinates, then only you will be able to get the best output. Or the same Thakur style, if it is applied in parenting, if I will spare the rod, the child will not listen to me. It will spoil the child. That is the language we use. It will spoil the child. बच्चा खराब हो जाएगा अगर मैं उसको डंडा नहीं मारूंगा. मैं कुछ दिन पहले ही एक केस I was listening to, I was in a coaching session, I was listening to one story my client was narrating. What he was saying was कि उसके मदर उसके चाचा को बोलते थे कि इसको मारो क्योंकि तभी ये सुधरेगा. तो फादर से तो वो ऑलरेडी मार खा के आया था. मदर क्योंकि वो खुद हाथ नहीं उठाना चाहती थी, तो वो चाचा को बोलती थी कि अभी तुम इसको मारो. Imagine the resentment, the guilt, the confusion, the chaos, the kid mind, which was carried for so long. He was in his early 40s and he was struggling in his corporate career and he was struggling in his relationships. Why he was struggling? Because of that behavior of the mother. Mother ने चाचा को बोला कि इसको मारो तभी ये सुधरेगा. Because at that time her mother theory was कि बच्चे को, खासकर लड़के को पीटोगे तो वो सुधर जाएगा. That was the narrative she had, the belief she had. And that was what was causing this. Take it to corporate. Akhil and Vishal, the same example. हम लोग क्या थियोरी देते हैं कॉर्पोरेट में? ऐसा करेंगे तो ऐसा होगा. हमने बहुत ज्यादा मेहनत किया, सुबह से लेके शाम तक सेशंस लिए, और उसके बाद भी इनको समझ में नहीं आ रही है. And so we have now the right to get angry so that they get into it. They understand it. They understand what I have been trying to say from morning. Parenting, same thing. We justify our acts. So this is level 4. So I will not build further on this level. Let's first cover up all the 5 levels. Let's look at the level 5, the Mother Teresa level. That is called real self-awareness. This is the deepest dive. आपको अगर अपने अंदर सेल्फ अवेयरनेस में घुसना है, आपको अपने अंदर सेल्फ अवेयरनेस में जाना है, तो आपकी जर्नी जो स्टार्ट होती है वो आउटर सेल्फ अवेयरनेस से इनर सेल्फ अवेयरनेस से सटल सेल्फ अवेयरनेस से एक्यूट सेल्फ अवेयरनेस से फाइनली इट गोज टू द रियल सेल्फ अवेयरनेस, which is the ultimate, the epitome of the self-awareness, which is called real self-awareness. This is the deepest dive, seeing your true self beyond behaviors, beyond thoughts, beyond beliefs. ऐसा भी कुछ होता है क्या? A realm beyond behaviors, beyond thoughts or beyond beliefs. So अब मैं जो कुछ बोलने जा रहा हूं वो थोड़ा सा ध्यान से सुनना. I will repeat it twice. Eckhart Tolle, a famous spiritualist, a thinker, a coach, he writes in his book, The Power of Now. His statement is that you are not your thoughts. You are the observer of the thoughts. I repeat, Eckhart Tolle, the author of Power of Now, his statement in the book is, you are not your thoughts. You are the observer of thoughts. And that is, dear friends, is our final level, the 5th level of self-awareness called real self-awareness, where Sarah had a breakthrough and she said to herself, I am not my anger or my worries. I am the awareness watching all of what I have been doing. I am whole no matter what. It's like stepping out of the storm into peace. And here is, my friends, the toughest part. To be in this zone, first to reach this zone, and second to be in this zone for long. Because in this, you are just observing. और इसको ही हम लोग अगर भगवत गीता की लैंग्वेज में बोले तो भगवत गीता में इसको बोलते हैं साक्षी भाव. In English, I would translate that in the Bhagavad Gita language, it is the witness. It is the one who is seeing. He is not the seen. He is the one who is seeing. और अगर इसको हम अष्टावक्र गीता की लैंग्वेज में बोले तो अष्टावक्र उसमें राजा जनक को जब बताते हैं तो at that he says कि दृष्टा होके देखो, दृश्य नहीं. Be the witness, someone who is witnessing, because you are the awareness. You are not the scene itself. You are the awareness behind the thoughts. तो अगर हम अपने अंदर जब जाते हैं सेल्फ अवेयरनेस में, when we go deep inside ourselves, so this is the ultimate realm, the ultimate core, the ultimate soul, जिसको बोलते हैं ना, the ultimate unity, where we want to reach. This is that level. And that's why I said this is the level where probably I would say Mother Teresa reached. It is probably the level where Mahavir reached. It is the level where Ashtavakra reached. Raja Janak reached. Krishna proposes it. Arjun reached post listening to Bhagavad Gita. It is where Osho reached, and he propounded in all his sermons. In all the spiritualists, whether they talk of the core, whether they talk of the soul, this is what they are referring to. And this is what I again repeat to register it in your minds, what 𝗟𝗶𝗶𝗱𝗲 has said in our language. You are not your thoughts. You are the observer of the thoughts. The day, my friends, you realize this, and you realize what actually it can lead to, that is where the true self-awareness, the real self-awareness arises. And the moment you get that, then you know how much advantage you have. Why? Because now you will be clearer. The peace will descend on you. You will become absolutely clear. And with that clarity and with that peace, what will happen to your relationships? Whether it is at home or whether it is at corporate, in your workplace, or whether it is with your friends or whether it is with your family members or with your colleagues, you know how it will be and where you will reach. So now I will stop for a moment and I will see if the earlier questions asked by Prerna, Vishal and Akilan, they have been answered. If not, one by one, you can unmute and say. So first, I will start with Prerna. Prerna, you got your answer?
Yes, Tarunji, yes. That these are all the different, developmental stages of, understanding the emotion. So now the sensory experience is over. Now, we are beginning to sense how, the anger is forming until where it has reached. But like I told you in my example, even though that awareness was there, I still ended up showing it. But for the first time in my life, I did it with awareness.
Yes. And
So,
what happened to that, Prerna, when the awareness descended?
I don't know. I felt as if I'm watching myself through like a CCTV lens. Like I'm seeing what is happening. I could see that, yes, this is what is happening to me. As if I'm actually watching a movie, I could actually see myself. As if for a split second, I had come out of my body and I'm watching this happening to me. So I could see that. But again, in that minute, I was also feeling a little embarrassed that, okay, so this is how I end up looking if I actually went out. And so this is how, so when I see other people getting angry for no reason, then sometimes, there is that a little judgment that I can pass that, oh my God, why did they make such a big issue out of it? So for the first time, I passed that judgment on myself when, for a split second, I looked at myself that, oh my God, this is how I'm, this is how it looks like. This is how I have responded and this is how it's appearing. But ye parallelly ho raha tha. It did not happen after I have cooled down. It was happening parallelly and it became so intense because it was all happening parallelly.
Yeah. So great. Thanks, Prerna. You have mentioned a lot of good points. And as I mentioned in the beginning of the call itself, that you are already at level 3. And that is because you have already worked so far and you have been observant. And this is the journey. So you now know what is your next level, which you can aspire to go, and the next level. Are you excited to go to that, Prerna?
Yes, excited. And I remember, something that you had mentioned in our, laser coaching sessions, that embarrassment is the cost of entry. So anything that we, do in life, and if you're feeling that embarrassment, I think it's a good thing to feel it.
Yes, very true. And
Yeah.
we will come to that point. प्रेरणा, आपने बहुत अच्छा point बताया, क्योंकि अकिलन ने जो question पूछा था उसमें exactly यही point है. And we will come to that when we come to Akilan, and then I will invite you once again. Remember this.
Yes.
You have made a very pertinent point. Yeah, we'll come to this. So after that, I would like to go to Vishal. Vishal, you had got your answer, or
yes, yeah, Tarunji, I got my answer. So I'm just trying to build upon what Prerna just mentioned. So in my particular case, I remember that I had that awareness, but I still snapped. When I snapped it, that awareness was gone. After I snapped it, in the next moment there was a switch, and I realized that, oh, I just snapped. Then I started to cool down from there. I started to make the situation better. Then later on, I did postmortem analysis on why did I behave. Of course, as Prerna rightly mentioned, I was also feeling embarrassed कि मैंने इतना काम किया है 6-7 महीने से. वो अभी जब टेस्ट का टाइम आया, when there was a test, I just stumbled, I just failed. But over the period of time in last 2-3 months, I think that was a very good incident which happened with me, which made me self-aware that what are the things which are stirring up inside me or causing me to snap. Okay, and once I recognize that, now what I do at this particular at my new place of work, what I do is that I just make them as checkers. Let's say, for example, if I start that feeling, then I go back and try to understand, is this feeling valid? क्या मैं सही तरीके से फील कर रहा हूँ, यहाँ पे मुझे ऐसा फील करना चाहिए, ये मेरा pre-conceived notions है or not. So what I mean to say is that I'm getting detached from that situation and at least taking a pause and trying to understand what's going on before I react. So yeah, I think it's a work which needs to be done over a period of time. This switch doesn't happen like right away. So we keep on working towards it, and whenever new test cases comes in our life, we try to look at it and get to the next level.
Yeah, thanks, Vishal. You mentioned a couple of very pertinent points, and there were 1 or 2 pointers which came quickly in my mind. हमारे को भगवान ने जब बनाया है ना, तो उसने थिंकिंग की पावर दी, पर थिंकिंग की पावर के साथ हम लोग इतना सोचते, पर उसने स्विच नहीं दिया है हमें ऑफ करने का. एंड दैट इज वेयर वी फेल मिजरेबली टुडे. ये जो दुनिया चल रही है ना, सोशल मीडिया की और डिस्ट्रैक्शंस की और इंटरनेट की और ओटीटी की और मीडिया का बम्बार्डमेंट फ्रॉम एवरीवेयर. Imagine the number of thoughts we are having in our minds today. It's mind-boggling number. और हमारे को भगवान ने स्विच तो दिया नहीं है ऑफ करने का. And we don't know how to off it. एक बार रील देखना शुरू करते हैं तो देखते ही जाते. एक बार ओटीटी देखते तो पूरा सीरीज जब तक खत्म नहीं होता नींद ही नहीं आता. Whether it is romance, whether it is thriller, whether it is political drama, whether it is XYZ, सब कुछ में खिंचे जाते. Imagine अंदर क्या हो रहा है. और उसके बाद अगर अगले दिन मीटिंग में, विशाल, कमिंग टू दैट पॉइंट, सुबह 9 बजे की मीटिंग में तुम 3 बजे तक लगातार बैठा है और उसमें तेरे पास जेनजी के वर्कर्स हैं जो रात को पूरी वेब सीरीज खत्म करके आए हैं. नाउ यू इमेजिन व्हाई ही इज नॉट अंडरस्टैंडिंग एनीथिंग एट ऑल.
Totally, yeah.
और कभी नहीं आने वाला है.
The energy levels will be different. Like they will be exhausted. उनके लिए boring रहेगा. Just for the sake of asking questions, they will ask questions to be relevant over there.
Exactly. You know, today you go to university, and I went for a guest lecture, and you know, half the students there, आपको उसका चेहरा देख के पता चल जाता है what has happened. वो रात को 2 बजे 3 बजे कभी सोया है और सुबह 8 बजे उठ के आ गया है to just mark his attendance. और अभी वो जबरदस्ती बैठा हुआ है. Same is happening in Gen Z, in the workers, in the work front. नहीं हो रहा है, रुक ही नहीं रहा है, कहीं नहीं रुकने का. Yeah, Rupali, I think you are saying something, Rupali. You can unmute and speak if you want to. Rupali has said, I am otherwise very conscious, but what happens when you are triggered? It just makes you lose your calm. Could you please explain? Sorry, I can't talk today. Okay. Tooth extracted. Yeah, I got it. Rupali, the point which you are trying to make, and that is similar to the points which have been made, कि triggers. तो triggers ऐसे हैं, क्योंकि triggers, अब आप समझ रहे हो रूपाली, why it is happening? Because हम लोग इतने तो भरे हुए हैं अंदर से. We are so much filled inside with so much distractions, with so much of other things. And उसमें कहीं खाली जगह है ही नहीं. खाली जगह होगी, if there will be some empty space, then only we will become conscious of what is happening, why my behavior is, what is my next level, what is my next to next level, why this behavior के पीछे का thought क्या है, thought के पीछे का belief क्या है, belief के पीछे का story क्या है, story के पीछे actual में जो reality है वो तो है ही नहीं. The truth is कि we are just an observer, we are just an awareness, we are not even thoughts. Forget thoughts से आगे जो feelings आ रही है, feelings के आगे से जो behavior आ रहा है, वो सब तो है ही नहीं. That is all untruth. वो तो सच में कुछ नहीं है. That is what the mistake we carry, the wrong belief we carry. तो ये awareness लानी, और ये awareness तभी आएगी जब हम वो trigger हो जाने के बाद we sit with that uncomfort, we sit with that feeling which is making us all the more disturbed, and uske karan se now there is collateral damage which is happening, either in terms of our career, or either in terms of our relationships, or in terms of our behaviors. We ourselves start feeling from inside कि ये सब जो है क्यों हो रहा है, मेरे साथ ही क्यों ऐसा होता है। भाई होगा ना, आपके साथ ही ऐसा होगा, क्योंकि आपने अपने आप को इतना भरा हुआ है ऊपर से, और खाली होने का नाम नहीं ले रहे। वी आर नॉट स्टॉपिंग एट सीइंग कि आज चलो टुडे वी विल नॉट सी द रील्स, टुडे वी विल नॉट सी द ओटीटी, टुडे वी विल नॉट सी द इंटरनेट, टुडे वी विल नॉट गो टू फेसबुक, टुडे आई विल नॉट गो टू इंस्टाग्राम। नहीं, हमको तो सभी कुछ करना है। सो एक तो ये रीजन है रूपाली, दैट we are too full from inside, and because we are not empty, so there is no scope for us to create those awareness levels which we discussed today. So most of the people today are at level 0. I will not even say level 1. Level 1 maybe the person is able to say I am angry, पर यहाँ तो सब एंगर वेंगर हो जाता है, सब कुछ हो जाता है, उसके बाद हम लोग वंडर करते हैं, अरे ये हुआ क्या मेरे साथ, why does this happen to me? हम तो लेवल 1 पे भी नहीं जाते, फॉरगेट लेवल 1, लेवल 2, 3, 4, 5, लेवल 1 पे भी नहीं जा रहे। दैट इज व्हाट इज एक्चुअल रियलिटी, एंड दिस इज नॉट द रियलिटी ऑफ वन, दिस इज द रियलिटी ऑफ so many of us. And when we got sucked into it, I think 2012 में ये जो फोन में स्मार्टफोन का फीचर आया, जिसमें उसने कैमरा लगा दिया एंड इंटरनेट लगा दिया, एंड गेव ऑल ऑफ अस दैट फीचर, फोन, दैट फोन, वहां से ही सब तबाही हो गई। इमेजिन द काइंड ऑफ comparisons, the kuntha. I don't have a better word than this. Kuntha is the word in Hindi, which is actually happening because of social media, because of all these things, the false projections. So it is not that I am against social media, I am against Facebook, Instagram. No, I am saying use it for the level, use it judiciously for the level it suits your purpose. If today you are required to attend these sessions, you are using one of the mobile phones, most of it. And that is how you are able to attend these sessions. I am speaking from Bangalore. I know Vishal is participating from Canada. Prerna is participating from Udupi. Deepika is participating from Noida. Akilan is in Chennai. Rupali is again Canada, and now she is visiting India. So all of us are able to talk using these mediums. It is for the good. But वहां पे हम रुकते नहीं. We go much beyond. And that is where this thing is causing the harm. So that is one. There are 2-3 other pointers, Rupali, I would like to make. I will not go into the detail today because it is beyond the scope of today's topic. But since you have asked a very pertinent question, and Akilan also mentioned in the beginning, so that is answer to both of your points, Akilan and Rupali. The power of the present moment, what we call mindfulness. अब जब हम रहते ही वो सपनों की दुनिया में हैं, तो प्रेजेंट में तो हम रहते ही नहीं। Either we are living in the past or we are living in the future. Past में रहते तो regret के साथ रहते, future में रहते हैं तो frustrations के साथ रहते हैं। तो जो सकून है, the real contentment, that comes only if we are mindful. If we are mindful of the present. But present में we don't want to live. Second is, we are also not comfortable to be with our uncomfort. हमारे को कोई भी डार्क इमोशन आता है, हमारे को कोई भी परेशानी आती है, it is not that we sit with that emotion for long. उसको एक्सेप्ट ही नहीं करते। सबसे पहले तो यही बोलते कि ये तो मेरे पास, मैं तो ऐसा हूं ही नहीं, मेरे साथ तो ऐसा होना ही नहीं चाहिए था। ये तो गलत है, किसी और के साथ हो सकता है, मेरे साथ तो नहीं हो सकता, because I am too evolved for all this. But actual awareness तो तभी आएगी ना जब acceptance हो. When we accept, and in acceptance also we saw these 5 different levels of acceptance. But we are failing even at the first level of acceptance. So we covered mindfulness, we covered acceptance, we covered another point which I wanted to talk about was, just give me one moment. Is to start small. हम लोग हमेशा जो प्रोक्रास्टिनेट करते हैं ना कि आई विल डू इट इन द बेस्ट वे पॉसिबल, वो हम लोग कभी बेटर वे में भी नहीं जाते, बेस्ट ही चाहिए हमें. वी वांट ओनली द बेस्ट, एंड दैट इज वेयर वी फॉल. If we make even incremental progress somewhere and do something which is better than our last performance, yesterday's performance, if we can improve even by 1% today, imagine in next 100 days where we can reach if we keep doing that 1% incremental growth. And that is very nicely captured in the magic of habits in the famous book Atomic Habits, where the author talks about, starting small. Small steps create lasting change. So these are some of the other pointers which I wanted both 𝗟𝗃𝗲𝗓 and 𝗟𝗶ৃ in answer to your queries. You have anything follow-up to ask? I know, 𝗟𝗶ৃ, you can't speak because of your tooth extraction. You want to type it out, your reaction or response? Please feel free. And 𝗟𝗃𝗲𝗓, in the meantime, you want to speak, feel free.
Yeah, Tarun, I have heard, listened to your levels, but I think you mentioned about the acute awareness, that is level 4, correct? From subtle to acute awareness. So is it something like we are transitioning from the level 3 to level 5 is you are observing whatever. I think you are a witness. So
yes.
So I'm not clear on that, like the transitioning from level 3 to level 5. Where
level 3 to level 4, you said, right?
Yeah, level 3, level 4, and then that acute awareness. I'm not clear on that exactly.
Okay. Let me attempt that first.
Okay.
So level 3 mein, 𝗟𝗃𝗲𝗓, we talked about the subtle self-awareness, where we could feel what is happening inside the body, feeling level. And in the level 4, acute self-awareness, it is the belief system behind those feelings. And those belief systems were founded by our parents, by our teachers, by our social media, and all those places where we gather the information and think them as the gospel truths. हम एक YouTube video देख लेते हैं, and then after that we think that is the theory, without validating, without going further, without doing our own research. So that is where the level 4 is, 𝗟𝗃𝗲𝗓. And level 5, as I mentioned, is beyond everything. Level 5 is where we give up our thoughts, our feelings, our beliefs, and now we descend into the real self-awareness. The level of APJ Abdul Kalam, the level of Mother Teresa, that I am the awareness, I am the observer. I am just seeing. I am observing myself, 𝗟𝗃𝗲𝗓. I am seeing that scene happening in front of me. I am not acting. I am not speaking. I am not reacting. I am not even responding, 𝗟𝗃𝗲𝗓. Because silent in itself is answering everything. Did you ever see the photograph of Mother Teresa? Did you see the photograph of APJ Abdul Kalam? किसी को कुछ बोलने का जरूरत ही नहीं है. उनका चेहरा, उनके चेहरे का नूर, उनके चेहरा ही सब कुछ डिस्क्राइब कर देता है अकेले. Mother Teresa life gets flashed in just 2 seconds in front of you the moment you see her photo anywhere. Is not it?
Yeah.
That is what is called real self-awareness. बुद्धा का फोटो, बुद्धा का जो हर जगह जगह पे इतना स्टैच्यू लगा के लोग रखते हैं, क्यों रखते हैं अकेले? बुद्धा का फेस, बुद्धा का चेहरे पे वो जो शांति है और जो उनका जो पोस्चर है, that by seeing you get in a different zone. And that is, I have not talked about that, which is called the flow, which is called the zone by the artists. You know, Deepika is there in our audience today. She is a very good poet and she is a very good painter. I remember discussing with Deepika about the flow she gets into once she is doing a painting or once she is doing what she loves to make a poem. Deepika, you want to come in and explain that flow?
Yeah, am I audible?
Yes, Deepika, you are audible. Go on, please.
Yes, so sorry, I'm driving, so I cannot talk much. So I think I discussed in our session regarding being one with the creation, whatever you are creating, right? That's what you're referring to, Tarun?
Yes, I am talking about, Deepika, when you are able to create a poem, when you are able to create a sketch, the painting which you draw, and that is the time when you transcend everything and you get into that flow which an artist gets. That is the one I was describing to Akilan. Yeah.
Yes. So whatever you are creating, I mean, if you're really passionate about, you just lose track of time. That is how you transcend. So I think that is what you are referring to, right?
Yes. Thanks, Deepika. Yes. Yeah, thanks. Akilan, you got your answer?
Yeah, I got my answer, Tarun, but actually, see, you mentioned about this level 5. Can that be misinterpreted as an inactive state? Like, okay, you looks like, yeah, you are just there with your hand raised or show as a blessing or something like that. I think we also have a sage Ramana Maharshi in Tiruvannamala, in the southern district. So where he is also like, the moment you see the photograph of him, so you feel that kind of calmness. And also our Shankaracharya, one of the Shankaracharyas in Kanchipuram. So he's not there. His disciple is there, but also a lot of people worship him, like the family guru or whatever. So only those photos, like that reminds me of that. Like you mentioned about Mother Teresa and also about the other examples, Dr. Abdul Kalam. So I'm just trying to go reflect into that. But in the modern society, I'm not blaming that, but that also they can be misinterpreted as like your inactive state, like it's nothing like.
No, Akilan. Now that is a pitfall. That is what we have to avoid. Do you think APJ Abdul Kalam was not active? APJ Abdul Kalam at that age and stage, he died while delivering the address to the students.
Right,
the last act of APJ Abdul Kalam, former president, former nuclear scientist, former missile man of India, died in action, which Bhagavad Gita prescribes in Karma Yoga by Krishna. And that is ultimate, जिसे बोलते हैं ना अकिलन, you can't, how you live speaks, but how you die speaks much bigger. And the examples which you gave of Ramana Maharishi, absolutely, Shankaracharya, absolutely, I totally agree. These are the models, these are the levels which these great men lived, and that is real self-awareness, where they went beyond their beliefs, beyond their feelings, beyond their beliefs, and they transcended to the level beyond their stories, and they reached the level of being just awareness, just the observer, the 𝗟𝗶𝗸𝗲𝗯, the unity of consciousness. They reached that pinnacle where they are saying that, this is the true self, which is beyond behaviors, beyond thoughts, beyond beliefs. And this is the deepest dive. Yeah, Kilan?
I'm just wondering, is it really possible to reach that state, that level?
Absolutely. In today's
all
world,
modern,
difficult. Of course,
with all modern challenges that we face, like we have a lot of disturbances, external disturbances. So
certainly, it is a very difficult task, and we have to get past. That's why I said at the beginning itself, it's a journey. It's a journey of self-improvement from one level to the second level, to the third level, to the fourth level, to the fifth level. So wherever we are, it's absolutely fine. It's a journey. We are all on a journey. Nobody has reached anywhere. There is nothing to achieve. There is nowhere to go. Yahi hai zindagi. This is what is life. Yeah.
Thanks, Tarun. Thanks for your insights.
Okay. Great. Okay, friends. Anybody else has got any other point or any other question? Feel free. Else, I know. Yeah, Rupali. Rupali, you want to ask? I think I answered your question, which you asked in the chat. I'm not sure if you are asking the same question again or you are asking something new. Or probably by mistake it happened. Okay. So Vishal, you have raised your point. Yeah. Okay, Rupali has given. First, let me answer Rupali first. Rupali has put in her chat. Rupali says, steps need to be taken to go to the next steps, the next stage. Okay. Yeah. So Rupali, very good question. And which even Akilan was also asking. So I think I gave some hint there, but let me go a little more deep in that. So जब हम बोलते हैं ना सेल्फ अवेयरनेस, तो सेल्फ अवेयरनेस में हम इसी तरह से अपने साथ when we become free with ourselves. And when I say when we become free with ourselves is when we are free with ourselves to ask the questions to ourselves. When Tarun is free himself, free to ask questions to Tarun itself, कि Tarun तू कर क्या रहा है? Why are you getting angry? तो Tarun बोलता है कि I am getting angry because of this reason. So next question is कि कब तक करेगा तू? Till how long will you do this? Are you getting some juice out of that? So then I give some other story. कि no. I was trying to make this point. Then further, जब एक बार हो गया, दो बार हो गया, तीन बार हो गया, again and again it is happening, then it makes me reflect कि okay, अच्छा, अब now what? I go further deep and I go to the next level and then I go to the next level and I go to the next level. तो हम लोग 5 लेवल पे इसीलिए बात किया रूपाली, that we are most Most of us are at level 0, as I mentioned. उसके बाद some of us are at level 1, where we can say that I become angry. Level 2 वाले तो बहुत ही कम है, where we are able to say the reason why the anger is coming inside us. Because my teens are not listening, my children are not listening. Level 3 तो बिल्कुल ही rare of rare है, where we are able to experience that feeling inside our body and then able to stop at our anger. क्योंकि if we are able to stop our anger at that level itself, तो हमारा प्रॉब्लम ही सॉल्व हो गया ना रूपाली. अगर वहां पे भी नहीं रुकते तो लेवल 4 पे आ जाते हैं, where the level 4 says कि oh, the belief system which I had कि मेरे बच्चे को तो मेरा सुनना ही चाहिए. जब वही हम लोग we are able to identify that and then we are able to reframe our thoughts, तो ऑटोमेटिकली वो इश्यू रिजॉल्व हो गया. अब अगर इसके लेवल के बियॉन्ड भी अगर हम वी रीच टू दैट अल्टीमेट लेवल ऑफ रियल सेल्फ अवेयरनेस, तो रियल सेल्फ अवेयरनेस में तो वी हैव ऑलरेडी डिसेंडेड एंड वी हैव रीच दैट अल्टीमेट, जहां हमारे सारे क्वेश्चन बंद हो जाते हैं. जो मैं अकिलन को बोल रहा था कि वी कम इनटू दैट स्टेज ऑफ साइलेंस. एंड नाउ यू आर आस्किंग द स्टेप्स. सो स्टेप्स इसमें रूपाली यही है कि हमें जिस भी लेवल पे हैं, सबसे पहले तो वी हैव टू सिट विद आवरसेल्फ एंड अपने दिमाग में अपने को वी हैव टू कंटेम्पलेट विद आवरसेल्फ कि तरुण तुम अभी किस लेवल पे ऑपरेट करते हो. आर यू एट लेवल 1, आर यू एट लेवल 2, आर यू एट लेवल 3, आर यू एट लेवल 4, आर यू एट लेवल 5, एंड कीप ऑन वर्किंग. और लेवल 5 वाला भी कभी बंद नहीं होता है रूपाली. लेवल 5 तो सबसे डिफिकल्ट है. लेवल 5 इसलिए डिफिकल्ट है क्योंकि लेवल 5 पे जो रुकना है अवेयरनेस पे, वो होती कहाँ है. आज बच्चे ने कुछ शरारत कर दी तो हमारा पूरा का पूरा हिल गया. आज ऑफिस में कुलीग ने थोड़ा सा जोर से बात कर दी तो हिल गया. आज मेरे बॉस ने मेरे को 5 लोगों के सामने कुछ कह दिया तो मेरा हिल गया. हिल गया मतलब अंदर से मेरा पूरा थियरी हिल गया. मैं जो लेवल 5 पे पहुंचा था, लेवल 5 से कहां लेवल 4, लेवल 3, लेवल 2, लेवल 1 पे गिर गया. दैट इज द रियलिटी. सो ये हैं, these are the things which we have to keep in mind and we have to constantly work and we have to constantly remind. और इसमें एक चीज मैं वो ओशो की क्विकली बताता हूँ. ओशो बहुत अच्छे से इसको एक एक्सप्लेन करते हैं. वो कहते हैं कि हमारा जो हमारे बाकी की इंडियन थियोरीज भी बोलती है कि हमारा 5 लेयर्स ऑफ बॉडी है. तो वो जो 5वां लेयर है ना रूपाली, द कोर, विच इज द लास्ट लेयर, हमारा आउटर से इनर के भी बियॉन्ड वाला के बियॉन्ड वाला के बियॉन्ड, फाइनली व्हेन वी रीच टू द लास्ट लेवल, द कोर, वहां तक हम पहुंच ही नहीं पाते. वहां तक हम पहुंच इसलिए नहीं पाते क्योंकि हम अपने आप से हमारी जो बातें होती है ना उसको रिपीट भी नहीं करते. कभी एक बार एक थॉट आ गया जब हम बिल्कुल ठंडे दिमाग से कहीं पे हॉलिडे में थे या मॉर्निंग में स्नान देते हुए शावर के नीचे हमारे को कुछ आ गया या ड्राइव करते हुए कुछ एक अच्छा सा थॉट आ गया, पर उसके बाद वो आया और चला गया. हमने उसको कभी भी उसके साथ वी नेवर क्वेश्चन बियॉन्ड ताकि वो कोर तक जाए. वेरी राइटली यू सेड विशाल, द आनंदमय कोश. हम तो वो बाहर के कोश पे ही रह जाते, अंदर वाले कोश तक तो जाते ही नहीं, कोर तक तो जाते ही नहीं. और इसलिए उसको वो जब तक हम नहीं जाएंगे तो हमारी जो प्रोग्रामिंग है ना रूपाली, वो आउटर ब्रेन लेवल पे है, जिसे हम लोग बोलते कॉन्शियस माइंड. जो अनकॉन्शियस माइंड की जो 90% जो हमें चलाती है बॉडी को, वो तो हमारी ट्रू प्रोग्रामिंग है. वो ट्रू प्रोग्रामिंग तो तभी होगी जब हम हमारे कोर तक वो मैसेज जाएगा. पर हम कोर तक तो जाते ही नहीं, क्योंकि हमारे पास पेशेंस ही नहीं, हम बात ही नहीं करते अपने से दोबारा। एक बार वो थॉट आ गया और वो चला गया। सो अपने को उस टाइम तक वी हैव टू कीप ऑन टॉकिंग टॉकिंग टॉकिंग। वी हैव टू एक्सप्लेन लाइक ए स्मॉल चाइल्ड, वी हैव टू टॉक टू अवर इनर सेल्फ कि ये ऐसे ही होता है, जमाना ऐसे ही चलता है, मेरा बॉस तो ऐसा ही बोलेगा, मेरा कुलीग तो ऐसा ही बोलेगा, पर तुम्हें समझना है, दिस इज हाउ यू हैव टू टॉक टू योरसेल्फ। देन ओनली योर इनसाइड द अनकॉन्शियस माइंड की प्रोग्रामिंग जो इतने सालों से, गॉड नोज फ्रॉम हाउ मेनी बर्थ्स, वो प्रोग्रामिंग हो रखी है, और जो जिसने सत्यानाश किया हुआ हमारा। दैट्स व्हाई द अनकॉन्शियस बिहेवियर जिस तरह से हम स्नैप करते हैं कि हम करना तो नहीं चाहते पर हो जाता, दैट इज ऑल बिकॉज ऑफ दैट। I hope I have given you small glimpse of what I wanted to say. If you want to go in detail, I welcome you. Set up a clarity call or further sessions and we can delve deep into that. Thanks, Rupali, for asking that question. Vishal, your hand is raised. You want to ask something?
Yeah, no, I just wanted to add some points to what Akilan and Rupali were asking from my personal experience, from my personal journey. We covered most of them, but I will talk at more at my level of understanding. So, basically, जहाँ हम ये triggers की बात करते हैं कि ये triggers होते हैं, तो अभी इसको कैसे steps करें? What are the steps? As rightly said, these are the developmental stages. In my personal experience, मैं भी यही question करता था, and I really appreciate that this is a good question we ask to ourselves as well as others in this forum, right? So what I figured out for myself is over a period of times, like when you keep on doing these things, right, it organically transcends into the next level. अभी like मैंने सोचा नहीं था कि अभी मेरे को 2 महीने में next level I have to go to level 2, level 3. No. When you keep on practicing, it organically snowballs into the next one. So that is the first thing about the trigger. And the second thing is, how do I know कि मुझे कैसे मालूम कि अभी मैं यहाँ से ट्रांसेंड करूँ या ना करूँ? The main core message I get from being with all of you and everything is कि अपना स्वभाव समझो. Like if you are talking, you can just explain to me that जो मेरा स्वभाव है, whatever my स्वभाव is, वो मुझे ही understand करना है. There is no red pill, blue pill kind of a thing कि भाई ये pill ले लो and आपका स्वभाव समझ में आ जाएगा. So we keep on questioning, as you rightly mentioned, Tarun ji. So I just wanted to add that was the second thing I'm working on, like day in day out, and it is always a work in progress. It is not gonna stop. We keep on delving more into our swabhav and understand. Just I told my experience, right? So I have learned from it, and next time when that kind of a situation occurs, maybe I will be in a better position to handle it. So I'm not jumping into the next level right away. It's an organic process over a period of time.
Absolutely. You said it, Vishal.
Yeah, and another important thing I would also like to mention is being in satsang. When we talk about saying satsang, right, we always think about in a spiritual manner, but whatever we are doing is also a kind of a satsang, which means that a group of people who come together and we discuss all these things, right? This also helps because at a core level, what I feel is that all our whatever issues we talk about and stuff, right? If you look at high level, they are all kind of in a similar way only. Like बस उसके सिर्फ nuances अलग-अलग, उसके notes अलग-अलग है. The music is different, but it is from the same instrument. So this also helps us to move forward in the journey of self-awareness.
Absolutely. You are right. एकदम हमारा जो है सत्संग ही है ये.
Exactly. Yeah, otherwise this time, like 1.5 hours, I could have spent with my kid. I would have gone outside for a walk. I would have painted. I would have done something, right? But what I'm trying to do here, we all are trying to do is that we will try to understand कि हमारा हर एक का स्वभाव क्या है. How are we going to make it better? So I wanted to tell one more thing. कि I am associated with one of the groups where we take parent coaching. Like हम लोग we have a teacher who teaches us about parenting and stuff. So first class, the question is, what do you want your kids to be? Normally answers क्या रहता है? I want my kid to be healthy, strong, intellectual, intelligent, knowledgeable, blah blah blah. All positive things, right? Because no one wants their kid to be angry, irritated and stuff, right? So teacher asks the next question, if you want your kid to be like that, are you that? So that is a very hard-hitting question. So we have to dwell on that question for a week and then come up with answers that are we that, what we want someone else to be, or at least in our case, our kids to be. So,
absolutely. Beautiful. Beautiful. Yeah. Yeah.
That's it, Tarun. Thank you.
Thanks. Thanks, Vishal. Thanks. Very good pointers. Deepika, your hand is raised. You can go.
Yes, before starting my question, I would like to add on to Vishal's point. I mean, he very rightly said the last statement, are we what we want our kids to be? Because that is how I can relate the statement with the fact that when we always tell our kids to not repeat the mistakes what we did, they will never listen to it. But when we role model a healthy, lifestyle or healthy habits, they will definitely imitate that.
Very well said. Yes, absolutely.
Yeah. And the question that I had was, I think Vishal mentioned that we never consciously move to one level to another. We don't do it consciously. It just happens organically. So since like I had my pro bono coaching with you, I think it has been 6 months or so, or more than that maybe, when we finished our last session.
Yeah. Right.
So
right.
I just wanted to know, if we are not doing it consciously, then how long does it take to reach to that level when we reach the equilibrium, like we don't get triggered by our old habits or old trigger points? Because after I had my pro bono coaching and you gave that example of how you wanted your dad to come home and respond rather than react, you should do the same with your son. So I consciously started doing that, and I think that statement stayed with me and helped me a lot. But recently, it's an example, like after we finished our pro bono, I think this was the first time, day before yesterday, he was not leaving the screen. For 10 hours, he has been video gaming, and even then, he was not leaving it. It was his school the next day. I got very angry, and then I just snapped. Suddenly, I just slapped him. And it was after a very, very long time, after I had these sessions with you, I think this was the first time that I lost my temper with him. And I'm admitting this in this public forum. I'm not embarrassed with that, but then whenever this kind of energy come into me, obviously I've started noticing these triggers that I'm becoming more like my strict father, although I can't remember if he ever raised his hand on me, but he was strict. He was hot-headed, but he never hit us. But that energy remains same when I lose my temper with my kid once in a blue moon. And at that point of time when I do it, I have already forgiven my father for not being emotionally available, because he had his own circumstances, and I look at him as a human being, not as a god or as a parent now, because I understand that his situation. But I'm not able to forgive myself for being like my father, which I swore once upon a time as a child that I will never give the same treatment to my kids. So how to forgive yourself, how not to be hard on yourself while you are working and you are on this journey. So that is one thing that I'm not able to improve upon.
Yeah. Very good point. So thanks for sharing that. And it is, the first step you have already taken. The first step is
yes,
that...
I have already forgiven him, but I'm not able to forgive myself for
yes.
slowly, gradually becoming like him. So now I've started noticing it, so I work upon that. But there are times once in a blue moon that I get back into that energy.
बिल्कुल. तो उसमें जो है ना पॉइंट जो है ना is exactly as you said, पर उसको मैं थोड़ा सा उसमें एक दो वर्ड्स और ऐड करके बोलूंगा कि आप जैसे जितनी सहजता से जितने आसानी से आप दूसरों को फॉरगिव कर देते हैं, फॉरगेट कर देते हैं, उसी तरह से आपको खुद को भी फॉरगिव, फॉरगेट, लेट गो करना आना चाहिए। तो उसके लिए आई वुड शेयर विद यू समथिंग, बट लेट मी ट्राई हियर इटसेल्फ. So this is called compassion and self-compassion. And this is, balancing compassion for others with self-kindness is a key to happiness and resilience. This we all know. But where we go gadbad is that we don't become self-compassionate, which you yourself just now said. So वहां पे हम लोग जो है, we have to look at our पुराने पैटर्न्स, और वो जो पैटर्न्स हैं उसके कारण से दीपिका हमारी जो अनकॉन्शियस की प्रोग्रामिंग हो गई है ना, वो इतनी हार्ड वायर्ड है. एज इन यू मेंशन वेरी स्ट्रेट फॉरवर्डली परफेक्शनिज्म. जहां पे वो एक परफेक्शनिस्ट का व्यू आ जाता है ना, तो वहां पे हम अपने ऊपर इतने हार्श हो जाते हैं कि वो हमने बचपन से देखा हुआ है कि नथिंग लेस देन परफेक्शनिज्म विल सेटिस्फाई अस, क्योंकि हमने वो लर्न किया है. अदरवाइज फादर से डांट पड़ेगी, अदरवाइज मदर से डांट पड़ेगी, अदरवाइज टीचर से डांट पड़ेगी, अदरवाइज हस्बैंड से डांट पड़ेगी. कहीं ना कहीं वो पहले की जो हार्ड वायरिंग हो रखी है, which is of perfectionism, that is very, very plausible reason in this particular realm of compassion and self-compassion. And self-compassion fuels compassion for others, including ourselves. तो सेल्फ कंपैशन जब हमारे साथ हम खुद एग्जिबिट करेंगे ना, तभी हम औरों के साथ भी कर पाएंगे. तो इसलिए इसके लिए एफर्ट लगता है, और इस एफर्ट के लिए एज यू राइटली सेड, व्हेन यू आर डूइंग द प्रो बोनो, तो उस टाइम यू गेट इनटू दैट जोन, यू गेट इनटू दैट फ्लो. बट वो धीरे 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 इट डिटीरियरेटेड, और आज एक ऐसा सिचुएशन आ गया वेयर it led to that particular snapping behavior, which is okay. Because this time you are aware, Deepika. That is the big change. आपने तुरंत पकड़ लिया उसको, और जैसे ही पकड़ा आपने उस पे काम करना शुरू कर दिया. Because you have already asked this question in today's, you yourself said that you have expressed your vulnerability. तो क्या हो गया? Vulnerable तो हर एक को होना ही है ना. This is your acceptance. So you are on that track. So, but the thing is that you have to go beyond this now. अभी आप इसके साथ रहो, अभी आप इस पे कंटेम्पलेट करो, और इसके साथ कंटेम्पलेट करके यूज दिस एज द नेक्स्ट स्टेप. वो जो नेक्स्ट लेवल हम बोलते हैं ना दीपिका, वो ऐसे ही आता है. ऐसा ही एक झटका कॉर्पोरेट में लगता है, मीटिंग में लगता है, बॉस के साथ लगता है, तो कॉर्पोरेट में रिजल्ट आ जाता है. ऐसे ही एज विशाल वेरी राइटली सेड इन द चैट कि योर चाइल्ड इज योर गुरु. वो भगवान का रूप है. भगवान ने भेजा ही इसीलिए कि हमारी जो इम्परफेक्शन, जो गैप्स हैं, उसको कैसे अब पूरा करना है. दैट इज वेयर वी हैव टू नाउ गेट दैट क्यू द नेचर इज गिविंग टू अस. या दीपिका?
Yes, or another point that I wanted to ask here is that, I mean, if I look at the society, if the next day I tell my friend about it, they are like very normal कि मतलब एक साल में एक झापड़ मार दिया तो क्या हो गया. But I feel 200 times guilty about that one slap in a year. I don't know why. Maybe because of I didn't ever want to be treated like this. Although I can't remember that I was ever hit by my parents. I'm sure I wasn't. But that strict energy was in a way that I felt that pain, of a hit, even if I wasn't hit physically. So
absolutely. You are feeling.
Guilt, why do I feel that guilt so much? I mean, it was normal in our days, right?
It is not guilt. It is not guilt, Deepika. वही लैंग्वेज बदलो अपनी. आप अपनी लैंग्वेज बदलो. आपने करेक्शन किया क्योंकि वो 10 घंटे से स्क्रीन देख रहा था. अब वो 10 घंटे से जब स्क्रीन देख रहा था तो वो एडिक्शन हो गया है. इट इज एडिक्शन. वो अब आपको, जब तक आप उसको फिजिकली नहीं हिलाओगे वो नहीं हिलेगा, उसको समझ में ही नहीं आएगी. So that step was required at that moment, but only for that moment and for that purpose. अब जो नेक्स्ट आपको करना है दीपिका, वो ये करना है कि जब when he is in that receptive mode, आप उसको एक लंबी ड्राइव पे लेके जाओ अपने लड़के को, उसको आइसक्रीम खिलाओ, मूवी दिखाओ, उसके बाद जब वापस आ रहे हो ना, तब उससे इस टॉपिक के बारे में बात करो. उसको बोलो कि मैंने तेरे साथ उस दिन ये किया बिकॉज तू 10 घंटे से वो स्क्रीन के साथ चिपका था और मेरे को और कोई तरीका नहीं सूझा. एंड आई होप यू नो आई डोंट एवर मीन टू हर्ट यू एट ऑल, बट इट हर्ट्स मी अ लॉट, क्योंकि मेरे को अंदर से तब से मैं परेशान हूं और तब से मैं इसका आंसर ढूंढ रही हूं और तब से मेरा काम नहीं करने में मन नहीं लग रहा है जब तक मैं तेरे से ये बात नहीं कर लूंगी. आप देखना उसके बाद आपका बच्चा आपको क्या जवाब देगा. He is more matured than you, Deepika. I can tell you, whatever age he is. And this I am speaking not just like that. I am speaking with very, very responsibility, with my self-experience. I have also raised a son. He is now 27. So I am speaking with experience. और एक और चीज, Deepika, before I close this point, there is one talk which we did called trust-based parenting. आप उसका recording देखना YouTube में. We had taken that session a couple of months back. We have tackled in detail about screen addiction in that. And I have a write-up on that also. In case you feel, DM me personally, and I will give you some more material there. In case you want further exploration, feel free. Okay, Deepika?
Yes. Thank you so much. I think my doubts are answered very well. Thank you so much, Tarun.
Thank you, Deepika, for asking and for this was a wonderful question. Yeah, guys, I know we are ahead of our time. So in case anybody has got any other point or any other question, else we can close. Anything? No? Okay. Thank you so much for being such a lovely and participating audience. Thank you from my heart. Thank you.
Thank you.
And thanks.
Thank you, Tarunji. Thanks, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you, Tarunji. Thank you, everybody. Thank you, Tarunji.
Thanks. Bye.
Thank you.